Hello, how are you? It's Rachel from Sage. I hope you're well. Here I am, barefaced, natural light, fan going. It's been a hot summer. It still is a hot summer here in Australia. Today I'm just going to do a full face of panned or near finished makeup. And I'm going to tell you about some changes in my life. So primer is one of my favorites, the Essence Hello Good Stuff Glow Serum Primer. You can see it's down to there. I love this stuff. I repeat purchase this. I use it on makeup clients as well. Although there haven't been many of those lately. And that's something that is changing. I'm not closing my business, but I'm only just going to be seeing regular clients now. And that is because I have, even though I'm not full-time teaching, I have taken on a bigger role at the school that I teach at. So I need more time to prepare for that. And yeah, I'm also dealing with some health issues at the moment, which is partly why I haven't been here. But don't worry, it's please don't worry. Mecha Max meal kit with Sika. This is fantastic. As you can see, it's almost done. I like this to just rehydrate my face before I do anything, and between steps as well. Good old MAC paint pot to prime my lids. As you can see, there's a good dip in there. I typically go through one of these on myself about every year, right? Now I have been using the Morphe sort of dupes of these, I suppose, and they are a lot better value for money, but it's not the same formula. Let's be frank. The Morphe ones are much better for an oily lid, and this paint pot is much better for normal to dry skin. And you can see the colour is perfection. So this is Painterly, if you didn't already know that. I just did my brows off camera. They're looking a little dark, I know, but hopefully once I've done the makeup, that will actually make a bit more sense. I need to tint them again, actually. And I do like them quite dark, because even though I've got, blonde hair and I'm naturally blonde, I think the contrast suits me. And yeah, anyway, that's how I do it. So I'm diving into my homemade eyeshadow palette today. You can see I've got 3 really good pans here and a good pan there, and I'm almost hitting pan in this one. And yeah, I'm just going to, these are mostly L'Oreal single shadows that I've taken out of their housing and put into this homemade palette that I did last year. So the first thing I want to tell you is that we're selling the farm. We are in negotiations process for that. In the meantime, we have already purchased a house in town, and it's a lovely house. And when I move in there, I will show you around. So that's already almost gone through. And we will be moving hopefully the last week of February, probably the first week of March. And the reason for us leaving the farm, there's a few reasons. The The main one being, though, it's a lot of work. And we both have, other jobs that we do. And when we're home, we've tried to make our lifestyle as easy as possible. But whether you have a small farm or a big farm, there is always a lot of management to do. There's weed management, water management. That's been a big one this year because we are in drought conditions where we live. Stock management. Now, we haven't got any of our own stock on the place at the moment, but we have got our neighbour's small flock here because he's run out of feed. So, and we have quite a lot, so because we destocked our place. So that tells you a little bit about the dry conditions that we're in. And water is it's a critical issue, especially in Australia. I'm not sure that people in the city fully appreciate how critical water access still is. And this is, very much a first world country. But we know of people that have had to really change their lifestyle and curb their water usage dramatically, and that makes it very difficult for them to continue with their farming operations. Sorry about that, just had an itchy eye. The household water consumption has to really change. Now, if I look sweaty, that's because I am. Sorry about that. Starting to sweat quite profusely. Now, we're here. I'm not saying we're in, serious dire straits in that regard at all, because we are not. But in anticipation of some years ahead of looking like very dry conditions, difficult conditions, we're thinking now might be the time for us to say, right, we've given this our best shot, because we have. And we also don't want to be working 7 days a week. We're both in our 50s now, well into our 50s now. And we're empty nesters, and we want to be actually able to go away on weekends and enjoy each other's company without having to worry about the animals, the pumps, this and that and the other. So in town, that will obviously all be made a lot easier, because we'll be on town water. Now, am I sad about leaving my beautiful farm? Of course. I love living here. I love the views. I love the trees. I love having space around me. On the other hand, though, it's been really hard to keep a business going when I'm so far out of town. Having said that, though, the business, my beauty business, is not that much of a focal point at the moment. And that's what I'm about to explain to you. Why? Got a nice little pink contrast there in the inner corner. That is a shade from the controversial, in inverted commas, subculture palette from ABH, which I decluttered. I took the shades out that I wanted to keep, And this one is like a dual chrome. It's white in the pan, right? But it doesn't look white on the skin. And whatever your skin tone is, it sort of adjusts to a degree. Okay, we're just doing a bit of a smoky eye today, apparently. That's what I've ended up with, haven't I? Right, so the other thing that is happening with me personally is that I had a medical episode really quite recently, and I've been diagnosed with a heart arrhythmia. I'm in very good hands. I have a very good care team now. There's been a number of treatments happen already, and I am in constant contact with my cardiologist, and my daughter has been amazing as well, and my husband, of course. Now, as a result of this diagnosis, I'm no longer able to drive. I may not be allowed to drive for quite some time due to the, changeable nature of a condition like that. And living out of town in rural Australia is difficult. I absolutely love my independence. I love my car. Good thing, because normally we have to spend a lot of time driving everywhere we go. Anyway, that's Australia. We don't have public transport options in this part of New South Wales, or they are extremely limited, and incredibly expensive to fly anywhere, like thousands of dollars to fly anywhere. And of course, living out of town, there's no buses, certainly no trains. I'm completely 100% reliant on neighbours giving me lifts, my husband chauffeuring me around, and my father-in-law, who's been amazing. And that is not really that sustainable. I just can see a time when everyone's got too many other things to do, and I'm going to be stuck. And that's fine. Like, that's perfectly acceptable, understandable. I get it. So I really need to try and not beat this thing. I can't beat this thing, but manage this thing to the point where I am allowed to drive again. So, got to lose some weight, first of all. Got to possibly have some procedures done that haven't already been done, and then we will see. Now, how do I feel? I feel all right. I look all right. I feel all right. I do get very tired at the end of the day, and I was starting to notice that at the end of last year, how incredibly tired I was, more so than, just menopause and work. Like, I was dead tired at the end of the day, and I would fall asleep. I'd get home and I'd have to just sit down, and then I'd just fall asleep. And my husband would come home, and there I'd be asleep in my chair. So this condition has shown me that I do have some limitations, and I do have to work within those limitations a bit more. So that's partly why I'm only working 3 days a week at my teaching job, so I can manage that workload. And that's also why I'm pressing pause on the majority of my sage business at the moment. It's also why I haven't really felt inclined to be on camera. Not because I don't want to talk to you, I just wasn't ready to talk about this. It's taken me a few weeks to adjust to the idea, particularly of not being able to drive. Now, any of you, and most of you do live in places where it's public transport is not available. I know that because you've told me. You would totally understand how it feels to have that part of your independent life, and me being a strong feminist woman, having that part of my independence taken away from me to an extent, is difficult to accept. So let's get on with the makeup now that I've told you that news, those two big pieces of news. This is an oldie, but very much a favourite. The L'Oreal Infallible Fresh Wear in 140. Can we see that? Here we go. This is a very thin formula foundation. It's a self-setter. Can be full coverage. This is possibly a little yellow for me now, but you know, we go with it. I think they've repackaged, but I will finish this foundation fairly soon. I have finished a foundation, actually 2 foundations this year already. Those 2 that were almost done when I did my makeup empties video, which hopefully you watched. That was back in January. They have now been finished. I squeezed every last bit out of both of them that I could get. It's hard with foundations, isn't it? In a bottle. I mean, we want to have a pump. We want the convenience of a pump or a squeezy tube. But to actually use every bit of product. So in my makeup kit, I do have makeup sticks, right? But I always slice a section of the product off with a knife and put it onto my mixing palette, and then distribute the product. I usually have to mix colours as well, so the palette is useful there for that reason. And then apply with a brush. I always use brushes. So the stick never comes in contact with the skin. So I just find the sticks more practical for me. Just had to pause then. Sorry, there was somebody at the door. Okay, so I just smoked that eye up a little bit more too. That's nice, huh? All right, so let's put some eyeliner on. Now, eyeliners I don't need to worry about really usually panning them because I just go through them pretty fast. I have a lot of them, of course, and I wear eyeliner almost as much as I wear mascara, so that's pretty much all the time. Even if I'm not doing an eyeshadow look, I find myself wearing eyeliner anyway, because the definition I really enjoy, and I'm also finding myself using like a more traditional crayon or pencil eyeliner a lot more of late. I feel that I've just got a bit better control. They're more smudgy, which I quite enjoy. You can see the eye definition there, even just that light brown gives. And I'm not really running on along the lash line, above the lash line too much. It's mostly just the waterline. So that's that Revlon Duo. There's the red end and that's the browny coppery end. The red end I am not using a lot, and I kind of figured I wouldn't use it too much. Okay, so let's have a look at some other pans as well. I'm just going to put all these on my face now. A la 2016. Got this LYS concealer, which has got lots of daylight coming through. I've taken the stopper out. All right, it's almost done. And I did want to finish this one because I've had this one for quite some time. And I'm concerned it's going to go off before I get to finish it. Now, concealer is a section of my personal makeup that I don't use a lot of, so that's probably why my concealers go off before I get to finish them. Yeah, and I don't want this one to just do that. I've found a couple of concealers now that I really like. I actually really like the Essence one that they sent me. The Multitasker, I think it's called. Or is that no, it's something like that. My favourite is the Natasha Denona High Glam. Now that, once I finish this LYS one, will be my next focus, because I've had them in my collection for a while as well, and I will most likely repurchase those because I've found them to be just beautiful no matter what sort of makeup I'm doing, whether I'm doing a full face, whether I'm just doing a light, day-to-day, get out the door sort of a thing. In any which way, it's beautiful. Look how flat this one is. This is the Merit Terracotta Flush Balm. That used to be a really big dome. To say I love this, obviously, is an understatement. Now, is it a blush? Yes, it is, technically. But you can use it however you like. You could even use this as a cream eyeshadow if you liked, with a brush. It's so pretty, so pretty. It's very sheer, so that's why I'm not worried about it using too much of it. Then the Tower 28s. I've had these for a couple of years now, so I really am keen to get through them. This is the Sculptino in Getty, so that is the actual bronzer, and this one is the Sculptino in West Coast. So this is the shimmery one. So I'll put this one on first. Just there. Just there. There. This is about as much contouring as I ever do. Now these I don't think have much of a preservative system in them, so that's why I'm kind of keen to use them up. So there's a really good pan in there, as you can see. Right, let's put that all around. I don't do a project pan. I tried it, a couple of years ago, and I found it. No, it was last year, and I started it, and I couldn't keep going. It was just, for me, I actually found it stressful. So I abandoned my project pan officially, and I probably made the mistake of trying to focus on eyeshadows. That was probably one thing that I shouldn't have done, the one thing that I shouldn't have done there. And I was just like, I'm not having fun. This is supposed to be having fun with my makeup, and I just wasn't enjoying keeping track of my makeup in that way. Now, what I do is I just rotate my products. Every fortnight, I clean off my makeup table and I will rotate in some products from my collection. Shopping my stash, I suppose, as it's often referred to. What do I want to use now? This one. So this is the Tower 28 Bronzino in West Coast. Sculptina, whatever. And I'll just put a spot there, and a spot there, and a spot there. We might put some here today. On the high points of the face. It's really lovely, and it does sheer out very well. I just had to put a little bit more on because the sweat started lifting things off. Anyway, it's because I haven't set, which I'm about to do. Right, so this is a palette that was gifted to me by one of you. Thank you very much. And you can see I've used it a lot. Right, lots of side pan there. I use everything in here. And I'm just going in with the banana powder here. I think banana powder will make a big comeback. We've gone through all the coloured powder trend, and this is on the, verging on the light side of banana, which is good because I don't want too much more yellow there than is already there. So I've done that with a puff, and now I go back in with a fluffy brush, just a little bit more product for the rest of the face and the neck, because I'm quite shiny and sweaty as you've already seen. So instead of sweeping, I tend to tap. I feel that gives more adherence to the skin and looks less heavy at the same time. I'm not trying to hide my pores. I love my pores. They keep me alive. I think people might be moving past the invisible pore obsession now, so that's good. It's only taken 10 years or something. Right, so that still looks satiny. Okay, my face is now set, thank goodness. I'm going to go in with the contour powder, which is the one here. First of all, no, that's not the brush I use. This is the one I use. I have to be light-handed with this shade because it is cool tone, but I do like the effect. And once I blend it properly, it looks pretty good. Now I go over it with the actual bronzer shade, that one there, which is really good for my skin tone. Having a neutral leaning warm skin tone. I don't know if this palette comes in any other depths, but this is certainly the right depth for my skin, as you can see. Don't forget about your ears, folks. The neck, everyone talks about that, but also don't forget about your ears. Especially if you're wearing like a high pony or something where your ears are going to be obvious. Then I'll go in with the highlighter powder, which I've used a lot of. It does have a tint. It can come off a little ashy. I just have to be mindful of that. I like to sort of make it merge with the eyeshadow. I'm really leaning back into highlighter again. It's really pretty, as you can see. Hopefully the warmth of the cream products will balance that out so I don't look too ashy. Do I have a blush? Yes. I have the GRWM Heat Wave in Sunset. This is one of my favorites. And I hope you can see there's the tile in there. It's almost ready to pop through. A couple more uses and I think it will. Now this is really a blush topper, technically, I suppose. It does have some pigment in it and it matches really well with this one. I'm very sheeny. I'm really liking a sheeny cheek. It's just a thing that I'm liking at the moment. It may well change soon. I might just go back to being matte and conservative again. Maybe not, maybe not. Just blend that a little bit more with the cleaner powder brush. That's looking quite nice, quite nice. Lip liner is the Colour Sensational Maybelline in Almond Rose. Beautiful. Creamy enough that I can do that. Smoosh and it distributes like a lip stain, but stays on once it's dry. Now, that's all I've got left. So good thing I bought some backups, hey. I'll definitely have that done in a couple of weeks. Trying to finish up my Fenty Heat in whatever that shade is. Can you see that? I'll insert it over the, I don't know how much you can see, but yeah, I'm down to there. This is one of my favorite, and I've taken the stopper out. It's one of my favorite gloss formulas ever. That's a bit of a different look with that lip liner. Okay, I think I like it. I'm going to go fix up my hair, come back. So here it is, the finished look. I like it. It is a little more full coverage than I typically wear, especially in summertime. But that lip combo, I'm not sure about it still. What do you think? It kind of ties in with the pink inner corner a little bit, I think. Okay, I'm going to show you what this looks like. I'm going to flick on my ring light now and show you the difference. So obviously the ring light They're the filming conditions I normally film under with the light on. But today I've decided to do it without it, just to show you the difference. I look far more natural under the light than I do in natural light, because this is more akin to a studio condition or a stage makeup. But this wouldn't be enough for stage, right? This would not be enough. This would just look like my normal face on stage. So if you want actually makeup to be visible and make a difference to the person's appearance, then it needs to be a lot more prominent. So let's go back to the natural light. And now you can see that the makeup looks far more obvious, doesn't it? In natural light conditions. Oh, sorry about sweatiness. You know, what can I do? Okay, hair's all right for the time being. Won't last long because it's so hot. I hope you have a great day today. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting my channel, even though I'm very sporadic with my uploads. And I will talk to you again soon.